Good morning. I'm Robert Drennan, President of the Board of Directors. We've had a little delay. Appreciate your indulgence, and we're now on track. I represent District 3. It's a pleasure to welcome you, each of you, to the 76th annual meeting of the membership of Appalachian Electric Cooperative. I call the meeting to order and declare that the members present represent a quorum. The meeting is now open for business. If you have a cell phone, please either mute it or turn it off so that you will not disturb others around you. Members and guests, I know you're ready. Please rise. And gentlemen, please remove your hats for the presentation of colors by the Jefferson County High School Junior ROTC Color Guard. Following the posting of colors, please join Ashlyn Thomas, a senior at Jefferson County High School, in the Pledge of Allegiance, and our invocation will be delivered by Sherry Franklin, pastor of Campbell Chapel United Methodist Church in Newmarket. Please remain standing until the color guard exits the hall.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Almighty yet gracious God, we humbly bow before you. We lift our prayers to you. We thank you first and foremost, O Lord, for the opportunity to pray publicly. We thank you, Lord, for so many things that we take for granted as we walk into a room and we turn the light on and there is light in our homes, for air conditioning in the summer and heat in the winter, and too many things to name that we so many times take for granted. We thank you, Lord, for those who sometimes put their lives on the line to bring us these services, for board members and officers and all those who work diligently day after day after day so that we can enjoy these comforts. Lord, never let us take it for granted. We thank you for the year that has passed. We ask for your guidance, your direction for the year to come. Make everything we do, O God, be for your glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
You may now be seated. This time I'd like to introduce the Board of Directors, guests, and others who are participating in the meeting today. I'm going to ask them to stand. On the stage, we have Dale Fain, Vice President of the Board, District 8. John Austin, Secretary of the Board, District 5. Craig Williams, General Manager and Executive Vice President of the Cooperative. and guests, Laura Campbell, Vice President, Customer Delivery, Tennessee Valley Authority. David Callis, Executive Vice President and General Manager, Tennessee Electric Cooperative Association in Nashville. Ted Holtz, Certified Public Accountant from the auditing firm of Pugh & Company in Knoxville. And Bob Young, Chairman of the Nominating Committee. Thank you. Seated down front, we have directors over here. Dan Redding, please stand, District 1. Mark Isom, District 2. Sue McBee, District 4. Gail Hickman, District 6. Dale Harris, District 7. Dale Fain is on the stage. He's District 8. Mike Hicks, District 9. Thank you. This time I'd ask John Austin, the Secretary of the Board, to come and read the meeting, or read the notice of the meeting.
Good morning. Notice is hereby given that the 76th annual meeting of the members of the Appalachian Electric Co-op will be held at 10 a.m. on Saturday, September the 24th at the Great Smoky Mountain Expo Center in White Pine, Tennessee, as listed in the proof of mailing certificate dated September the 8th, 2016. The purpose of this meeting shall be to pass upon the reports of officers, directors, and committees. Number 2, the election of 3 directors in accordance with the existing bylaws. The following persons have been nominated for directors by the Committee on Nominations. District 4, Sue McBee. District 6, Gail Hickman. And District 9, Michael Hicks. The following person was nominated by petition for District 9, Charles Chuck Catlett. All other business which may become before the meeting and any adjournment or adjournments thereof in accordance with the bylaws. Thank you.
Mr. Austin is prepared to read the minutes of the 75th annual meeting held September the 26th, 2015. However, I would entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of those minutes and approve them as written and available for inspection at the cooperative office. Do I have a motion? Name? Ruth, you got that? Second? Name? Are you seconding it? Yeah, your name? Ruth? Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve it. All approve? Aye. Opposed, no. And so ordered. You probably noticed in your agenda that we've returned to a more normal schedule following last year's 75th anniversary meeting. We will be video recording the meeting and posting it on our website for our members to view at a later date. Also, the screens you see will be used during the meeting to help better communicate some of the reports and information we will be sharing today. If there is anything we can do to assist to help you during the meeting, please reach out to one of the AEC staff in the gray shirts. Okay, the Credentials and Election Committee has a responsibility to establish the manner of conducting member registration and voting at the annual meeting. This time, I'd like to introduce the members of the committee and thank them for their service and ask them to stand as I call their name. They're seated somewhere right down here, over here. John Barnhill, Clyde Baird, Vernon Coffey, David Holt, and James McCorkle. I didn't see anybody stand, so they're over here, are they? I can't see. They're back up here. Okay, we moved them. Okay. Thank you very much for your service. The nominating committee prepares and posts at the cooperative's office a list of nomination for the directors to be elected. At this time, I will introduce the members of the nominating committee and ask them to stand as we extend our thanks to them also. James Collins, Doris Cunningham, I believe Doris made it, James Dean, Carolyn Allen, Jim Bond, Ray Spradling, Eddie Overholt, Linda Ward, and the other member is Bob Young, who is on stage. Thank you very much. Now, it's time to have a little, well, no, first of all, back up. At this time, I'd like to ask the cooperative attorney, Doug Drennan, to conduct the election of the directors. Then we'll have fun after that. Got some drawing.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, members. Pursuant to Section 4.6 of the bylaws of the Appalachian Electric Cooperative, the Board of Directors has previously appointed a committee on nominations to nominate a candidate for Directorate Districts 4, 6, and 9. At this time, I recognize the chair of that committee on nominations, Bob Young, and ask him to give the report from that committee.
We, the undersigned, who were appointed by the Board of Directors of the Appalachian Electric Cooperative, pursuant to Article 4, Section 4.6 of the Cooperative Bylaws, as a committee to nominate members to be voted on as directors of the cooperative at the annual meeting of the membership of the cooperative to be held on Saturday, September 24th, 2016 for Districts 4, 6, and 9 for the ensuing 3 years or until their successors have been elected and qualified, as required by the cooperative bylaws, do hereby nominate the following members to be voted as directors for such respective districts. District 4, Sue McBee. District 6, Gail Hickman. District 9, Michael Hicks. Respectively submitted, Robert Young, Doris Cunningham, James Dean, Linda Ward, Ray Spradling, Jim Bond, James Collins, and Eddie Holbrook, Jr.
Mr. Secretary, I request at this time that the report on nominations be identified and further request that that report be annexed and entered into the minutes of this meeting. Section 4.6 of the bylaws of the co-op also allows nominations by petition. There was one nomination by petition submitted and verified for District 9. That was Charles Chuck Catlett. Being that there are no other candidates for District 4 or 6, I would entertain a motion that each of the nominated candidates, District 4, Sue McBee, District 6, Gail Hickman, be elected by acclamation. Do I hear a motion? And your name? Gloria Pritikin, District 6. Is there a second? Your name? I'm sorry. There has been a motion and a second to that the following nominees be elected by acclamation: Sue McBee for District 4 and Gail Hickman for District 6. All those in favor of that motion say yes. All those opposed say no. Hearing none, that motion passes. Since we have two nominees for District 9 and pursuant to Section 4.3 of the Appalachian Electric Cooperative Bylaws, directors shall be elected at large by secret ballot by the members. Each member has been issued a ballot upon registration. You will find a pen in the bag that you were given when you registered. Fold that ballot once before placing it in the ballot box after you have chosen which nominee you're going to vote for. The Credentials and Election Committee will act as tellers and be responsible for counting the votes. Appalachian Electric Cooperative staff will provide assistance as needed in distributing and collecting the ballot boxes. Since the co-op accepts proxies for voting, you may notice that some members have more than one ballot. That is because they registered a proxy and that proxy was actually approved and through the registration process. If you need any assistance, please raise your hand and an Appalachian Electric Cooperative staff person will respond. At this time, please mark your ballots. At this time, I would direct the Appalachian Electric Cooperative staff to distribute the ballot boxes. Members should remain seated and drop your ballot into the ballot box as it passes to you. At this time, the tellers and the Appalachian Electric Cooperative staff may deposit their ballots in the ballot boxes. Have all voted who wish to do so? If no one else desires to vote, I declare that the polls are closed. At this time, the tellers and the AEC staff are to deliver the ballot boxes to the secured location, at which time the Credentials and Elections Committee will be responsible for counting all votes cast and bringing a report to the membership.
Now, we're ready to do some drawing for prizes. Take a moment to set it up. Each prize is a certificate for credit toward your electric bill. So as soon as they get set up, we'll start the drawing. The first certificate is for $50. Ticket number 470687. Got them? Okay. Now we'll draw a second drawing for a $50 certificate. Ticket number 471397. Way over here. Okay. We have another drawing for $50. Seven 39840. Where are we? Okay. Got it? Okay, this will be the last drawing for this round, but we'll have a couple more rounds going later. This is for $75. $412,960. Got it? 412960. Joe, you got it? Okay, at this time, I'd like to call upon Laura Kimball, Vice President, Customer Delivery for TVA, which is our only source of electricity.
Well, good morning. So I am based out of Memphis, Tennessee. So I've come a long way to be here today. And I have to tell you that it was probably worth every mile to watch democracy in action. People being elected respectfully and then going to work. So my kudos to the board and all they've done here today. I want to thank the board for their enduring support for public power, and to the employees of AEC, the 100 employees of AEC who serve 45,000 cooperative members with the spirit of public power each and every day. I want to say how much we appreciate you and all that you do. Your mission, like TVA's mission, is to improve the lives of the people you serve through energy, affordable energy, promoting economic development, and energy efficiency. Cooperation and collaboration have been key to rural electrification and public power in the Tennessee Valley since the beginning. I'm from a small town in West Tennessee, and our family can still remember when electricity was brought to our farm. Raise your hand if you remember when electricity was brought to you. Still, that's amazing to me. Thank you for that. After 83 years, TVA remains committed to the people of the Valley and improving the lives of those that we serve alongside AEC. When TVA was created, it was in response to the challenges of the day, and it was supposed to be an integrated and holistic response to that. And you guys see today in your area the results. Cherokee Dam and Douglas Dam, here not only to provide hydroelectric power for the valley, but also to provide a better way of living, recreation, and other forms of jobs to support the area. In 2015, TVA updated our integrated resource plan, and in doing so, it's less reliance on coal, more nuclear, natural gas, and renewables. I am pleased to report that Watts Bar Unit 2 will be online this fall. It is the first nuclear plant in the 21st century and will generate 1,150 megawatts of low-cost, carbon-free electricity for years to come. Despite the construction of Watts Bar 2 and 2 new natural gas plants, we've been able to maintain and even lower our debt. And our plan for the years to come is to continue to decrease that debt so that we can maintain rates into the future. This year we do have a modest 1.5% rate increase, yet our residential rates remain some of the lowest in the country. The electric power industry is changing. In many regions it's happening very quickly, and we're beginning to see those changes here in the Valley. New technologies are focused on renewable energy and energy efficiency and provide consumers with a lot more options. The change in the attitude of the consumers to new technologies and increased energy efficiency is resulting in flat load growth for many utilities. Because of this shift, our collaboration with local power companies like AEC is more critical than ever, as together we work to find the best solutions for the Valley. I want to congratulate the board and the employees for AEC for their foresight and leadership in the area of this evolving industry. AEC's 7-acre community solar facility generates enough renewable power to serve 130 homes, and we've been proud to be a part of that demonstration. AEC's commitment to serve is clear, not only for those of you who raised your hand a few minutes ago, but your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. Across TVA, we see more demand for greener energy. And in 2015, 13% of the energy that we generated or purchased came from renewable energy. Energy efficiency is also an important part of our generation mix. And supporting energy efficiency is just the right thing to do for TVA, for the local power companies, and for the customers. It helps consumers save money and keeps the environment clean. In 2015, TVA, along with our local power partners, had impressive results, saving enough power in the last year to power 33,800 homes and putting $350 million of incentives back in the pockets of businesses and industry. Let me wrap up by mentioning TVA's relationship with AEC, which goes back some 76 years. And during that time, we faced a lot of challenges. And through it all, we've grown closer together. On behalf of TVA, we look forward to continuing that relationship for years to come. Thank you. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Laura, for taking your Saturday morning to come out and address this crowd for. This time, I'd like to call on David Callis, Executive Vice President and General Manager of the Tennessee Electric Cooperative Association out of Nashville, Tennessee. David?
Don't you wish we could get the federal election done as easily as we did the director election today? Happy to be here with you this morning and have the opportunity to make a few brief remarks. Congratulations to Greg, this board, and these employees for the great job they've done running your co-op the past year. You have a board that you elect, that you did some election today, that works on behalf of your communities. And you have a very dedicated group of men and women that do their best every day to keep the lights on. I slipped Greg a note after Laura said that he only had 100 employees to handle 45,000 members. I've had a few jobs. One of them was CEO of a co-op. I had 150 employees for 48,000 members. So apparently your co-op is doing a dang good job in getting the work done for you at a much lower cost. So let's give them a hand. I was pretty impressed with that. Well, I'm proud to be part of the team that helps keep your lights on, the small part that we play in it. We work very closely with your co-op's employees and board. You may know us best for the Tennessee Magazine. I have a great staff that produces an award-winning magazine. I hope you enjoy that every month. They put a lot of work into it, and we do it all for our co-op members. And our efforts at TECA and the magazine are focused on doing anything and everything we can do to support our co-ops. From safety training to director education for your board to the Washington Youth Tour. You've seen some of the wonderful students that are helping this morning with some of the events. And we also keep tabs on what's going on in Washington and Nashville on the legislative front from our elected officials, and that is more than a full-time job. We have a staff of 2 people that help me with that. We work hard on letting our elected officials know what's important to you. Brings me to the one very important thing that I want to talk with you about this morning, and that is the need to get out and vote. Voting plays a crucial part of our representative democracy. Federal, state, and local elections offer an opportunity to exercise our civic responsibility. It's not an opportunity, it's a responsibility to select the best leaders for our communities, just like you've selected your board members to help run your community's co-op. Yet in places all over America, citizens just aren't exercising that right. And I'm going to give you a very, very bad stat. In Tennessee, we are almost dead last. If you count the 50 states and the District of Columbia, guess where Tennessee placed? 50 out of 51 in the number of people that went to the polls in 2014, with only 29% of us heading to the polls. And in rural areas, the areas we live in, the area your co-op serves, we're not getting to the polls like we should. People in the cities are voting more than we are. In the last presidential election in 2012, voter turnout dropped all across the country. Co-op areas dropped 18%, more than twice that of the nation as a whole. And when you miss the chance to vote, you lose the opportunity to communicate your concerns to your elected leaders about the issues that matter to you, where you work, where you live, and where you raise your families. Issues that are important to us, what are they? Reliable electricity, access to rural broadband, access to good health care. Those are just a few of the issues that your co-op and you care about. Registering to vote and voting are the most effective ways to send the message. That's how you let your elected officials know what your priorities are. So think about the importance of your community and your family. You need to vote to make your voice heard and to protect what is near and dear to you. So when we go to the polls, let's remember the cooperative principle of concern for community. That's a way where we'll steadily improve our political system. It's a system designed to produce a government, what? Of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's why electric cooperatives were formed, it's how we were formed, and it's what we've been doing for over 75 years. I told you I'd be brief. Well, closing, again, I want to thank Greg and this board and the employees for the work that they do. Greg does a great job running the co-op, and I think he does a job running it while he's running around the valley. Greg has a number of responsibilities and roles that keep him busy and that have him working on behalf of co-op members across the state, so I'm really not certain how he does it. I'd also like to thank you, the members, for showing up on a Saturday morning for a director election and for a business meeting. I know you get free food and some door prizes out of it, but it's a business meeting, and you took time out of a beautiful Saturday, took time out of your schedule to come here and be a member of your co-op, and that's important. It's a very important thing for you to do as a member and as someone that works directly for you. I do appreciate that, so thank you very much for your time this morning, and you all voted this morning, so let's remember, get registered to vote and vote in our national, regional, and local elections come November. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David, for taking time to be here and for all that you do for our co-op and the other co-ops in the state of Tennessee. Mr. Ted Hopes of the auditing firm Pew & Company will now give the auditor's report. Ted?
Good morning. As Mr. Drennan said, I'm here to give a short audit summary, and I realize I'm the last speaker before the next drawing. So, Pew CPAs conducted the financial and compliance audit for Appalachian Electric Cooperative for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2016. Our report was presented to the board earlier this week. Our firm issued a clean opinion report on the cooperative's financials. As a snapshot of your financial results, total revenues of the cooperative were approximately $100 million, total expenses were approximately $98 million, and your excess revenues over expenses was approximately $2.6 million. Excess revenues are reinvested in the cooperative's plant and distribution system. Basically, it's fixed assets. Total fixed asset additions during the past year were approximately $9.5 million. The financials include the TVA solar project, where $900,000 was received this year for the benefit of the co-op community solar project. The cooperative is also always assessing its internal controls on an ongoing basis. As a result, it recently adopted a new credit card policy. A financial summary of the cooperative is printed in David's Tennessee Magazine, so you can take a look in there and find a little more information. And really, in summary, we appreciate the cooperation of the Appalachian Electric Co-op's Finance Department in conducting our audit. The cooperative is in sound financial condition, and reiterate that a clean audit opinion was issued. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. I know you've just completed the audit, and of course I know the staff is pleased that you're through. A lot of work goes into the audit report. Okay, we're ready for another drawing series. Each prize is a certificate toward the electric bill. You must be present to win. So the first prize will be a $50 certificate. 471-617. 471-617. Where are we? Over here. Okay, we have another certificate for $50. $471-534. Somewhere over here, I hear. Okay, we have a $75 certificate. $739-905. $739-905. Okay, we'll draw again. $471-533. Down here. Okay, we have another $75 certificate. $471-630. 471-630. You got it? Okay, this is the last one for this drawing, a $75 certificate. 739-898. $739-898. Nope. Okay, we'll draw again. $471-555. Got it? Didn't verify. Okay. Okay. Our General Manager and Executive Vice President, Greg Williams, will now give his report. Greg?
Thank you, Robert. Good morning to each and every one of you. I don't know what it is about this section over here, but it's extremely lucky. I don't know if you might want to move or something here. Very, very interesting. But welcome to your annual meeting. This marks the 76th year that we've been gathering together as members of Appalachian Electric Cooperative. And I really could not be more pleased that you've come out this morning to be a part of this event, to visit with us, to visit with neighbors and friends, and hopefully learn a little bit more about your co-op and all the ways that we work hard to add value to the lives of our members. I also want to add my thanks to our guests today who have joined us on this special occasion. Now, to put this event into context, I want you to know that nothing else that we do all year long means more to us than the opportunity we have to be right here with the folks that we serve. It is indeed a very special occasion. So let me begin by asking you a question. Have you ever stopped to wonder how your co-op is different from a municipal-owned utility? For instance, like KUB, Knoxville Utility Board, or even MUS, Morristown Utilities, or even an investor-owned utility, say like Duke Energy. I mean, they all provide electricity to the homes and businesses located within their service territory, right? Yes, they do. The answer lies in our unique business model, as outlined in these 7 cooperative principles. This is the framework upon which our cooperative is built. It truly distinguishes us from other types of electric utilities in some very important ways, which we refer to as the cooperative difference. Now, it's hard to convey just how significant this is and how much it means to you as our members, but it's truly what sets us apart. Now, one of these principles is being demonstrated right here today with the first balloted election we've had since 1978. We had to go way back in the record books to find that. When you received your ballot upon registering for today's meeting, and when you made your decision about which candidate to elect to our board of directors, you were actively engaged in one of those principles, and that's democratic member control. I know this is a responsibility you take seriously, since the directors we elect are your voice, they're my voice, on our board. By setting policy for AEC, these men and women guide the co-op's direction, and they make financial decisions that keep us physically sound. The requirements are rigorous, the hours are long, but our directors are ever mindful of the fact that they really work for you. Now, speaking of their work for you, let's look back at some of what's happened since we met here last year. At that time, I announced an exciting new project. AEC had been chosen as one of only 2 recipients of a TVA award to develop and construct a utility-scale community solar facility. We are the first in East Tennessee. It was a huge honor to have been chosen from applicants all across the valley, and another example of the mutually beneficial partnership with TVA, as Laura mentioned earlier. Today, I'm happy to be able to tell you that that project, and you see the pictures here, is very near completion. In fact, we're hoping to commission it probably around November the 1st. Best of all, it's fully funded through the TVA grant and a purchase power agreement from TVA with no impact to electric rates. Now, some of you may have seen it just off Highway 11E in New Market, right next to our substation. Over 9,000 solar panels will generate an estimated 1.8 million kilowatt hours in the first year of operation. Now, as AEC members, you and I have the opportunity to subscribe, to share, or support this local initiative to produce and distribute clean, renewable energy. Now, whether you rent or whether your property might be shaded by trees, or you simply don't wish to install and maintain a solar array, you can participate and benefit from co-op community solar. And as of this past week, we've had well over 500 of those panels now subscribed by members just like you. Now, perhaps today you picked up one of the brochures, hopefully you did, from our member services booth today. Or, of course, you can go to our website and learn all sorts of things about this project. But to get started, come by the co-op and see the good folks in our member services department. The sooner you sign up, the greater return you'll realize on your investment. Now, we're continually working to find ways to make our community stronger and the lives of AEC members better. With that goal in mind, we've been considering whether it makes sense to be involved in an effort to deliver broadband internet service to our members. Now, we greatly appreciate the input we've received from folks like you, our members, because your views do matter. Proposed legislation affecting this type of project will soon be before the Tennessee State Legislature. It'll be coming up in January. And let me assure you, this is a very fast-moving situation, and we want to be very careful about committing any funds until we're sure of being able to protect the interest of those that we serve. Basically, we're in a wait-and-see mode right now. If things move in the right direction to consider going ahead with this type of project, you can be sure your board will be carefully considering the idea in light of what's best for the cooperative and our members. Now, a year ago, our Co-op Connections card program was brand new. Since then, many hundreds of your fellow AEC members have saved now more than $10,000 on prescription medications and other items. Folks, this is real value, and it's absolutely free. And it's another benefit that you get from being a member of the co-op. If you've lost your card and you need another one, please reach out to our Member Services Department. Now, it's always interesting to learn about the latest developments, but sometimes the very best news is not new at all. Every single year for the past 75 years, your cooperative's general manager has announced the finding of a clean audit report, one that fairly represents AEC's financial status. Now, think about that track record for a moment. That's 3/4 of a century when our members could have complete confidence in our physical accounting. Just because it always seems to happen this way is not a reason just to take it for granted. A great deal of work and many long hours go into ensuring that we maintain that record. And Vice President of Administration Connor Fry and the co-op's Finance Director Robert Gass deserve much of the credit for continuing this remarkable achievement into this year. Their work reflects the fact that we have a responsibility to take the money that you pay us through your electric bill and manage it with the utmost care. And I can assure you, I take that very seriously. Another important part of what we do is to bill our members correctly each and every month. As our regulator, TVA, conducts an annual audit of our rates and billing processes. And I'm proud to say that we received a score of an A for those results. It really just all goes back to our mission, which is one that is not about making money for shareholders. It's a not-for-profit organization. We were created for no other purpose than to improve the quality of life of our members by bringing them reliable electric service in a safe, courteous, and timely manner and at the lowest possible cost. Now, with our current electric bills reflecting a level of use associated with many days of temperatures above 90, and all of us realize it's been a hot summer, obviously we probably cannot remember what last winter was like. And last winter was a very, very mild winter. And as a result, our 2016 fiscal year kilowatt-hour sales reflect that. We were actually down almost $5 million in revenue because of the drop in sales, and our power cost about the same. Additionally, from the finance perspective, making regular payments against the amount of debt that we carry, the principal balance has been reduced by almost $6 million over the past 2 years. Now, with the associated interest cost savings, we are now in a very strong position with regard to equity, or the amount of our plant assets that are fully paid for. In fact, we're right around 59% equity. We also have a comprehensive construction work plan that's in place that covers capital projects through 2018. And you will probably see in our financials that you'll see our debt probably go up just a little bit over the next few years as a result of this. We have a number of big projects coming out. For instance, we're getting ready to rebuild the substation in Bean Station. We have a major addition to the substation in Rutledge. And we have some significant upgrades to our delivery point station in White Pine. Now, we've just completed rebuilding a section of transmission line in the Bean Station area, and we're now working on a section in the New Market area. Now, the key to these big assets like this is we always want to pay for long-term assets over their lifetime, or for at least 30 years, because we do not want to drastically impact current electric rates. Now to expenses. Expenses for operations and maintenance of the system continue to rise, obviously, just like due to inflation, and we are very focused on doing everything we can to reduce cost, but without compromising reliability. For example, a recent LED lighting project at our headquarters is creating a net savings of more than $13,000 per year, on top of almost $4,000 in savings we're realizing from an earlier lighting upgrade in our warehouse building. And I'm really proud of our employees. They just formed what's called a Go Green Committee, and they're continually looking for ways that we can reduce, recycle, and reuse. We also had a recent modification to our vegetation management program that's netting an additional $50,000 in savings. Now, despite all those efforts to trim cost, we've reached a point where we have determined that a very small rate increase is necessary. It's not just optimal, it's not something we thought we'd do just because it makes things easier, but it is necessary. After 3.5 years, we have been holding rates steady for the co-op. This is our portion of the electric bill, not the piece that goes to TVA, but the piece that goes to your co-op. We've held that steady for 3.5 years, and we simply cannot delay any longer. So an overall increase of 1% will generate about $700,000 in additional revenue this fiscal year, and that's the minimum amount we believe will be required to offset increasing expenses and keep operating safely and reliably. Now, for most folks here today in the residential group, this will translate to an added $1.50 on your monthly base charge. Now, this increase is on top of the TVA increase that Laura mentioned earlier. So the total, 1.5 from TVA, 1 from us, that's 2.5%, or for most residential members, that translates into $3.62 on your monthly bill. That's on average. Now, my hope, my goal, is that we continue to implement cost-saving measures that will allow us to make the revenue generated by this increase get stretched, that we can make it stretch for at least 2 years. However, let me share with you some really good news that I think will help in this regard. After an extended period of essentially flat growth as a co-op, we are now growing again. We were up more than 300 new electric accounts when I spoke to you at this time last year. Today, we've added an additional 400 metered accounts this year. And we've reached a symbolically significant number. As of the end of last month, we are now standing at 46,031 metered accounts. But while we enjoy celebrating exceeding 46,000 for the first time in co-op history, I'll let you know, I'm actually looking forward to the day that I can stand here and say that we've hit 47,000. So that's a good thing, because growth helps us offset cost increases to operation and maintenance. So let me conclude my remarks to you today with a reference to the future. Your board of directors and management staff are right in the middle of updating the co-op strategic plan. Strategic plan is like a blueprint, and it helps guide us, in this case, for the next 3 to 5 years. We last went through this process back in 2012, and it truly has been invaluable in guiding our decision-making and our resource planning. But time passes, situations change, members' needs evolve, and now it's time for a fresh look. Within the context of 4 focus areas: plant and reliability, member services, rates and finances, and workforce, we are revisiting our strategic objectives and the initiatives, or you might call them action items, that we'll need to undertake in order to reach them. And this will be a collaborative effort between the board, the management staff, and the employees, all of whom will be looking to the plan for guidance on the co-op's direction for the future. Now, at this point, we don't know exactly what will be included in the plan, but you can be assured that we will hold ourselves accountable to it. And I look forward to sharing some more details next year. Until then, I'm going to leave you to consider the theme of AEC's new strategic plan: member-owned and service-driven. That tells you a lot about this plan and what this co-op is all about. Thank you for being here today. I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Greg. And I'd like to say thank you to all the employees of the co-op, including the staff and management. Thank you very much. This time, I'd like to recognize Dale Fain, Vice President of the Board of Directors, who will recognize the AEC SA Contest winner for 2016. Dale?
Thank you and good morning. Each year, AEC joins the Tennessee Electric Co-op Association and the National Rural Electric Co-op Association in sponsoring the Washington Youth Tour Essay Contest. 2016 marked the 50th year of the AEC participation in this program. The creative writing assignment is offered to junior English students at Jefferson County High School, Granger High School, and Morristown West High School. Students are asked to compose an essay on a selected topic directly related to rural electric cooperatives. The topic this year was Going Beyond the Wires. Over 1,000 students participated. First and second place students were chosen at each school, and one male and one female student received a week-long expense-paid trip to Washington, D.C. this past June. I'd like to recognize those winners today and congratulate the following students. The first place winners from Jefferson County High School were Ashlyn Thomas and Min J. Park. From Granger High School, the winners were Carla Combs, Mason Watson, and Samuel Horton. From Morristown West High School, Shannon Clark and Brandon Jacome Mendez. A grand prize winner was selected from the first place winners. That winner will receive a $2,500 college scholarship to the institution of his or her choice. This also qualifies them to be in the running for a $10,000 scholarship to be presented next spring by the Tennessee Electric Co-op Association. It's my pleasure this year to announce this year's grand prize winner was Shannon Clark of Morristown West High School. AEC congratulates Shannon and wishes her good luck in her continued education endeavors in the coming years. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're still waiting on the Credentials and Election Committee to bring the results, so we're going to do 2 more prize drawings to give a little bit more time to them. So we're going to do a $100 certificate for your electric bill. You must be present to win. Okay, for a $100 certificate, 739830. 739830. Okay, draw again. You got it. Wait a minute. Okay, I didn't hear you. Okay, we have another $100 certificate. $739,787. Everybody's on this side today for some reason. Most of them. You have it? Okay, way over there. What's our next step? Okay, we're going to do the grand prize drawing. We have a $250 certificate. That's the first one. For $250, 471701. Way over here. Okay, you got it? Okay, this is for a $500. This is the grand prize. The winner of this one needs to come down front. We'll draw for the prize now. $739,822. Over here. Don't leave yet. You'll need to come down front to get your, now, we're going to have to recess because the count is not finished. So we're going to recess the meeting. We cannot close the meeting till the election is over.
Right.
Do we need a motion or how do we do that? We just recess it.
Recess, and then everybody is welcome to get lunch.
You're welcome to get lunch. You're welcome to stay in here till we get the results, but we cannot close the meeting till the results are in. The lunch is, you will pick up your lunch up here where you came in. I think there's tables up there.
Yeah.
Up here to your, right to the left of the door. So we are now in recess. Okay, we will officially call the meeting back to order. If any of you want more food, there's plenty of food left out here. Please feel free to take extra. This time I recognize Doug Drennan, our attorney, to give us the results of the election. Doug?
Thank you, Mr. President. There was a report that has been submitted by the chairman of the Credentials and Election Committee, Clyde Byard. At this time, I'll read the report. The number of votes cast was 958. Mr. Charles Catlett, the necessary number for election is 480. Mr. Charles Catlett received 467. Mr. Mike Hicks received 490. There was one illegal vote that was noted by the committee, and there were 2 abstentions, which also are not counted. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adopt the report of the Credentials and Elections Committee as the official election of the director for District 9. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Okay, let me get the motion maker. What's your name? Jody Gatlin. All those in favor of the motion, say yes. All opposed? Mr. Secretary, at this time, I'd ask that the results of the report of the Credentials and Election Committee and the election be annexed and actually placed into the minutes of this meeting, and duly identify the following individual has been elected to represent District 9, and that would be Michael Hicks. Mr. President, this concludes the election of the directors for the 76th annual meeting.
Thank you, Doug, and thank all of you for coming out today. The meeting is officially adjourned. Please take food.